You're watching Tea Time right here on Plus TV Africa, where the big stories live. I'm Tokunbo Taiwo, and I'm here with my fellow co-anchors, the laudable Lakbe Banjo and the intriguing Ife Oshinkeye. Morning, guys.
Morning. How are you?
What's new this morning? Did you have a good weekend?
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah, you went for a wedding, didn't you?
I did go for a wedding.
How did that go?
Well, it was one of those weddings that you don't know who's getting married, you just kind of show up, which I would never want anyone to do at my own wedding, like just rock up.
But you know it's never going to happen.
Yeah,
There's
well...
someone that you don't know is definitely
going to show up. But it was fun. I enjoyed it.
Ife, did you get up to anything?
Just a lot of rest. I had a restful weekend.
Very interesting. Okay, so we're moving on to today's episode, or today's topics, rather. So we've got news on Genevieve, Meek Mill, Wizkid, Harry Song, and we're going to be starting with Wizkid. It's regarding the mother of his children who call him out again. So
it's not a good look, is
It's
it?
not a good look, because I remember seeing over the weekend that he's going to be opening some schools.
Yeah, well,
or something
he's saying
like
that he's going to use his proceeds from his partnership with Nike to build schools across Africa, which is his dream, starting off in Lagos. And obviously his baby mama commented and was like, you know, charity begins at home, they say. You should basically start off by paying your kids' school fees, suggesting that he's not there for his kids. It's not the first time we've heard that, those kind of allegations.
Yeah.
So Wizkid really needs to answer to some of these allegations, because it's just reoccurring now. And if he isn't, then that will be a huge shame that his personal family life is suffering as a result of his success.
All right, Ife?
I think this came off the back of Nia Guzman, Chris Brown's baby mama, the mother of royalty, when she called Chris Brown a deadbeat dad in front of royalty. And then, what's her name, Diamond, Wizkid's second baby mama, took that picture and said, if only my baby daddy was doing half of the things Chris Brown was doing, that even if he wasn't there, at least he's showing her off to the world, and he's paying child support, and if she can only get half of that. So this is just off the back of, and then Shola Ogudu also commented like, oh, charity begins, I don't pay your child's school fees for. So yeah, it's not a good look for Wizkid. Wizkid, if you're really not paying school fees and child support, man, then trust me, you're gonna lose a lot of fans.
Ife, you're usually one to always, you know, pay obeisance.
Yeah, but in this case,
him.
I can't support Wizkid. I can't support Wizkid, because if you're not paying your child support, if you're not doing what you're supposed to do as a father, then why have kids? Which is my question to a lot of people who live in abject poverty and then still go on and have multiple kids.
I don't think there's a problem that
But
applies
it's not about poverty in Wizkid's case. He can afford to take care of this kid. So why is he not doing what he is supposed to do? Which is the question. And then you go to London and you show off Zion. You buy him the chains. You buy him this. You buy him that. And then your other baby mamas, whether or not you love them or you don't love them anymore, I don't think the kids have to suffer for your feelings against. Obviously, he's going to have negative feelings about his other baby mama, because they've been calling him out recently.
That is like, you want to react, or you agree or concur or disagree?
Yeah, no, I think what Ife's saying is right, but I think in some cases, I mean, I feel like now that it's come out again, I think now Ife is sudden, like you're now like seeing the other side. Because I remember when this first came out, not with Wizkid, but other like baby mama dramas. Obviously, like sometimes you put the blame on girls that are forcefully trying to get themselves pregnant for celebrities, which I get. I mean, but in this case, Wizkid is showing love allegedly to another child, and he's got two other kids that their baby mamas their mothers have said, oh look, you shouldn't be you know, saying that you're going to build a school if you can't even pay your kids' school fees. It's just the irony of that makes this so like interesting. I mean, it's not entertaining. It's just more interesting that you want to build a school because you've made so much money off of Nike, but you can't pay your own child's school fees.
Exactly. It's a bit of a travesty.
Yeah, but then in this case, we haven't heard his side. I doubt he'll respond, but these allegations keep coming and coming, so he's got to do something about it, and the sooner the better.
Yeah, I know in the past I referred to these girls as thirsty, and I also called Diamond, his second baby mama, out for saying that $15,000 was what she got and that it was too small. But in this case now, she's not saying just child support. She pays for the nanny, she pays the school fees. So it's a different case if you're saying, okay, Wizkid gives me this, but it doesn't give me enough, which is the case in Chris Brown's child support
Yeah.
is not enough. It's not like he's not paying child support, but it's not enough for all of these things. So, but it's a totally different ball game in this case, where you're saying it doesn't pay the school fees, it doesn't pay his child support at all.
Yeah.
That is what is making me change the tune right
very
now.
interesting views, but we're going to leave it there as we move on to our next story, which is on Meek Mill and Drake, who both quash their beef. Yes, so this is quite interesting because on stage they actually.
Please.
What you doing?
No, look, I'm just tired of fake hip-hop rivalry. I think the community after Biggie and Tupac,
Everyone now
real
wants
beef. And big shout out to Nicki and Cardi B. Y'all really showed us what.
Weren't we discussing this morning?
What's that?
Beef?
Exactly.
What's beef? Now you guys have defined
I thought
beef.
it would have been
you
our
want to
number
see
one
all of
story.
these male guys that come after each other and
No,
then
no,
you
no,
rap
but if
about how
it-
you want to kill each other. Come on, do it already. Like you guys are not.
No, but if you don't want to glorify.
I'm not advocating for it,
True.
but I'm just saying that this lady
Like, put some
just
of-
proved that, man.
Yeah, but if this is the thing.
Put your money where your mouth is.
is true because a lot of people were saying, well, Cardi B says this and this in her lyrics, Nicki Minaj, and like, but now that they're doing it, everybody's like, oh, they shouldn't be doing that. Now I get what you're saying. However, in hip hop, and you would know this, and rap culture,
Yeah.
and Jay-Z has said this numerous times. Rivalries are a thing. It's part of the culture. Like, it's not meant to be real.
And it's expected.
It's not meant to be like a real beef. You're not meant to
Okay.
hate each other. It's meant to be like,
Oh, trust me.
no. In some cases, yes, but when it's like musical,
But in Cardi B's
in
instance,
Cardi B's case, it's
would you
different.
say?
I'll talk about Cardi B in a second.
Okay.
But what I'm trying to say is that in the rap and hip hop culture, when they have rivalries, it's purely musical. Jay-Z has said it
Yeah,
so many
it's
times.
purely
It's
musical.
lyrical. It's meant to
Okay.
be like
Yes.
about the art. When it gets to the level that Nicki Minaj and Cardi B, then it's personal.
Okay.
And that's
Exactly,
what-
which is why I appreciate it when some of these rappers just come and then they talk about each other's ghostwriters, they talk about each other's baby
Yeah,
mothers.
but then
and they
what
talk-
it does is like
And
Drake and
expose their
Pusha T.
secrets.
Yeah, but then what I don't like about what Nicki Minaj and Cardi B are doing is that one, you're glorifying violence. Two, Cardi B needs to know how to behave in a professional manner, no matter where she's grown up from, no matter what background she's come from. Don't bring that because now what's going to happen is.
And she left with Coco.
Yeah. Did you see my comment in the group chat? Did you see my? I was like, she's the one that left with a bump on her head.
Yes.
But this is my thing, right? If you behave like that, like right now, she's already, and I know, and I want to see it happen, but she's now boxed herself into kind of ghetto behavior because now, for example, imagine inviting her to the Grammys or inviting her to
They're
something.
going to be slightly worried that she's going to
especially
put on that
with
kind
white
of
people that
behavior.
already think
No,
black people are aggressive.
in our defense,
And also, can I just add on as well? It's like it's saying up the whole thing about women and fight and like not allowing a space for one person. The men aren't. You're not seeing the men throwing punches at each other when they're in the same building.
Rather, they're squashing beef.
Rather, they're squashing beef, but you guys are throwing stuff at each other. Of which Cardi B was the one acting ratchet. Nicki Minaj was surrounded by like a human shield of men protecting her. Once again, Cardi B took off her shoe and dashed it at Nicki Minaj, and Nicki Minaj
Yes,
did
but
it with
in her
left.
defense, that was because Nicki Minaj was
Said something about her
undermining
child.
our parenting.
So it's hip hop, it's beef. Like, I mean, yes,
No,
Nicki
you-
Minaj
there's
is
some
hard
things
to
you
deal
know,
with.
All right, guys.
There's
you
some
don't-
things
you don't get to
Guys,
punch
I
people.
think we
don't
should
get
come back to
physical.
Meek
So
Let's
Mill.
come back
Let's
to
come back to
Meek
Meek
Mill
Mill.
and Drake. Big shout out to the both of you. I've always loved you guys doing music together, especially in Rico.
What do you think you were saying?
I think
Rico's
Correct
a
me if I'm
really-
wrong, but it's like you were saying it was fake or something like
I
that
think they
initially.
did. No, I'm talking about like, come on, man. Like
Their
I didn't
relationship.
say
To be
it
fair,
was
they weren't
fake.
enemies
I'm just
before.
saying like,
Okay.
you don't come up with all these allegations, this whole beef thing, and then all of a sudden you're shaking hands, and then we don't even know what's going.
But wasn't it to do with Nicki though? The real beef because they
Exactly.
were
No,
Because
no,
it
it
started
didn't, it
from
didn't have
20.
nothing to do with Nicki.
Okay,
it
but there
had
was-
to do with Rico. It was a
The
song
song,
they
yeah, I
did
know the
together.
song, yeah.
And then Meek Mill accused Drake of using a ghostwriter on
yeah.
his song.
On his song, yeah.
That was what caused the beef in 2015.
Fair enough.
Then
But I'm
other
saying
stuff
they were
started
friends
coming
before
up.
that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, they did a song
Yeah, so
together.
it's
they've been fine.
like I'm not surprised that they kind of rekindled.
No, I'm not.
And Drake
And
is kinda
besides, I
open
think
to it.
Drake right now is in a position in his life where he just wants to make amends
Peace,
with
yeah.
everybody. Because if you see what he posted on Instagram about he said this gave him so much peace. He's moving forward,
Yes.
healing, and all of that. So I think Drake, and then he just made peace with Chris Brown as well. They just started following each other back
Yeah.
on Instagram. He
Kanye.
accepted Kanye's apology. So everybody's wondering, like, is Pusha next? As in, should we see Pusha T?
Will it ever happen though?
Yeah, like.
All right, time for a break. When we come back, we'll be bringing you the latest scoop on Harry's song. Don't go anywhere.
I said my baby they
It's where the big stories live. This is Plus TV Africa.
When I did it, I was full on, hands-on on the whole project.
So how did you deal with it? All of that negativity?
I got depressed, obviously. Duh. Haven't you heard?
I've got two of the hottest topics currently trending on social media. If you've seen the word Senate trending on Twitter, that's because the Nigerian police force has gone Trump style.
I haven't shared this with anyone, but I reckon I get about like 100 people asking for help a day. That's a fact. I can prove that.
Welcome back. You're watching Tea Time right here on Plus TV Africa. And as mentioned earlier on, our next scoop is on Harry Song, as his ex-PR manager shares his unpleasant experience with the singer by saying your depression story is a publicity stunt. Ouch. Oof.
Okay, first of all, this guy needs to go back on Facebook and retract the statement, because this is just how people kill themselves. If Harry Song is actually suffering from mental illness and then this guy is coming to say all of this, you can't just be like, to hell with
Do you
everything.
think Harry
and then
Song could
take
like
his own
sue
life.
him for libel? Or for defamation, sorry, for defamation of character?
No, it's not really defamation
No, this is
of
not
character.
defamation of character because...
Okay.
But I do think that in this guy's case, that he said that he's not going to retract what he said, but he gave a statement after the backlash that he got from it, and he said that he's not going to retract anything he said, but he is sorry that Harry Song feels like that, but he's not going to retract how he feels about what he said. He said he's not going to. He said, this is in his own words, he's sorry about the timing, but he's not sorry about what he said, which for me is not an apology. Like, it's like saying sorry, but I'm not sorry.
Sorry, thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah.
And then he also said, as far as it's concerned, this is a publicity stunt, but if it's not, God see you through.
Listen, I just feel like comments like this, you're absolutely right. If I think comments like this, like whether or not he has depression, whether or not he doesn't have depression, first of all, this person is not in the position to comment. And actually, he's probably the one that's trying to use this.
I was going to say that on the flip side,
who
is
cares
he the one
about your
seeking
opinion?
attention?
Yeah, why are you seeking attention and coming out and saying X, Y, Z? But you won't say what he's actually done. You won't say, you're just saying that everyone he's ever worked with knows that he's terrible to work with and blah, blah, blah. You're putting it on Facebook and you're getting...
he was saying he has been with Harry Song for 8 years.
And I mean, all of those kind of things are what makes people, convince themselves that the suicide is the only option. You say this is someone that's very, very fragile at the time. And we saw this with T. Bills as well. I mean, when he had his outburst, his wife came out and, said everything about him. And
he almost jumped off
and
the bridge.
and he almost committed suicide. And it's just... There's a time and place to say things, and this is just not the right time to say it. Okay. It's not the best thing to say. I mean, for goodness sake, we know he's had issues with his previous record label. What are they called? 5 Star Music. Casey and his brother. And they haven't come out to say that, oh, look, he's been a terrible person to work with. He's a horrible, artist or anything like that. So, and who even knows this guy? Like, who is he? Like, I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think anyone would pull a publicity stunt using depression.
The truth is, people will always have negative stuff to say about you, whether you're good or whether you're bad, and it's only expected, especially when it has to do with work relationship, because you answer to Harry Song. Harry Song answers to 5 Star Music. So sometimes you might be like, okay, this is my boss. But his bosses are telling him, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this, you can't do that. Then he begins to cut some people off or begins to make certain moves without you. And then you guys feel like, oh, but I've been there 12 years before now. So you don't expect... No, it doesn't work like that. This guy answers to people as well. So a lot of people that come out and say, oh, celebrities change once they get bigger. Of course, their record labels want them to grow bigger. If you're my social media person and then you have only 300 followers, then I get signed to a record label and they're like, look, that person with your 300 followers can't work. We have somebody with 15 million followers and we have to...
I agree with you, because in terms of like Harry Song himself, he has the, the autonomy to decide for himself what he wants and who he wants to work with. Just because you've worked with him 16 years or 30 years, it doesn't necessarily mean that he owes you, that position. So carry on like you.
So you get me. So a lot of people just need to just
pipe down
and consider that, look, the celebrities, they're also human and they also answer to people regardless of their status in the society. They also answer to whatever record label they're signed to, their management team, their brand ambassador, their brand ambassador, what do I call them now? PR or whatever it is. Now, so you just need to give them some space and let them be, you get, because you've seen most cases where people come out and be like, oh, I started with you 8 years ago. It doesn't mean we have to finish together. What we need to have is a good relationship, even if we don't have to work together. So I think, dude, you're talking about your MTG account in 2012. Come on, man.
No one cares anyway. No one cares.
So how are we going to conclude? I think we're all on the same page on this one.
Yeah, he needs to just shush. Like, he needs to be silent.
I just think it needs to, he's saying Harry Song needs to apologize. We don't know about that side, but you don't come to tell us about how we should feel about Harry Song. If I feel, some people definitely feel Harry Song is a good person. Some people will come out and say, oh, Harry Song is great. He helped my son pay his school fee. So the fact that you have issues with Harry Song doesn't mean that's the general view. So don't generalize it.
Yeah. All right, time for another break, but don't worry, we'll be back soon.
The country has about 1,400 unmanned routes in and out. That's according to the Nigeria Immigration Service. But have you ever wondered where these guns come from? Who controls the trade? And who makes up the clientele? We got on the dark web, but didn't find anything exactly useful, so we decided it was time to hit the streets. We reached out to one of our assets in Mile 2 area of Lagos and immediately arranged a meeting for the same day. Not everything can be discussed over the phone, I'm sure you understand why. So we met and he told us straight away we needed to see the real thing. Wow, that easy? So off we went on a journey to Nigeria's border with Benin Republic, where he introduced me to Smith, a gun dealer. This is how we began the observation on Nigeria's gun culture.
Smith, I'm a gun dealer. I sold gun to politicians and different people. If you call me that you need it, I'll get you the kind of gun you want.
Welcome back. It's still tea time right here on Plus TV Africa, and we're swiftly moving on to our next story, which is supposed to be it's supposed to be on Genevieve Nnaji, who talks about being a proud feminist. But before we delve into it, you know, I was like, I can't believe that we forgot the biggest story this weekend.
Like Serena Williams, obviously it's all to do with this whole feminist thing. I know Ife's really gonna like love this topic, but I think in this case you see two different sides. I mean, Genevieve has actually just got her latest movie on Netflix now. They've bought the rights to it.
And it's her directorial debut. Yeah,
which is big. I mean, we haven't heard much from Genevieve in a long time because clearly she's been doing a lot of work. And Genevieve has always got credit for a lot of the, you know, works that she's done with her films and stuff. I mean, the first ever film I watched in an international cinema was Ije, and that was with her.
That was with Omotola,
and that was great. It was it was set in America, perfect acting. So I'm not surprised that Netflix are interested in getting rights to her new movie, and I hope it does really, really well. And she's also kind of said she's a proud feminist, and the fact that she's benefited from being a feminist, and the fact that, you know, she's been able to succeed a lot of the times. I mean, she's also mentioned something that was really interesting that not a lot of people touch on, which is the fact that, you know, people feel like because, you know, women are women, that it's almost a weakness. But she uses that as part of her strength as well, which is great. And it's nice that we hear this view as opposed to Tiwa Savage and DJ Cuppy, who are also in the kind of same industry, but kind of sway away from being proud like Genevieve.
Feminist.
And Genevieve is benefiting really well. She's also a mother, and you know, she's not following the conventional get married, have kids kind of. She's
So
really
single, independent
Yeah,
woman.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
And coupled with, you know, what's happened over the weekend with Serena, where she thinks that, you know, she's probably the best in tennis for women. Actually, she is.
Let's come to that. Let me quickly get Ife's view on the Genevieve story, and then we can talk about that.
I think she's absolutely right, apart from the part where she said in most cases the ones being oppressed are by the oppressors. No, the oppressor. How did she
Get it right?
Okay, I think she said, okay, what she was trying to say was that, look, most times in these cases, the people trying to oppress people is because they're scared of the strength of those they're oppressing. So this just gives me the mind state of saying that men are oppressing women because we are scared of what women can become, or no, that doesn't make any sense.
So you don't believe?
So I think it's just a cultural thing.
Should I give you an example of what she means?
No, we don't. We're not scared. We're not scared of what
No, but
women.
should I just give you an
We know
example?
the strength of women, but don't ever say a man is scared of a woman. Never.
Ooh, I don't know what to say to that. Lakwe, what are you gonna?
There's no point.
There's no response.
Yeah, there's no
All right, I think we should move on then to Serena.
Yeah, I mean, Serena over the weekend had a match with Naomi Osaka, the Grand Slam.
Yeah.
So it was my sport. I love tennis and I play tennis really well. So I think I was super interested. But the drama of the night was the fact that, you know, the umpire kept penalising Serena for allegedly getting coaching from her coach just because he gave her a thumbs up. So she obviously was really upset with that, went over to the umpire a couple times, you know. But the most interesting thing she said... Yeah, because he took her... I mean, he penalised her and then Naomi ended up winning. But Naomi played really well.
Yeah,
and I've been saying she's a protege. She's probably going to follow in the footsteps of Serena.
Absolutely.
Now, two things I really want to raise. I'll bring it up now. The reaction, as in how Naomi and Serena treated each other after. And then also, just before I get onto that, I want to talk about the key things that Serena said. So the most interesting thing she said was, I never cheat to win, I'll rather lose, which, you know, shows how much of a good sportswoman she is. And also the fact that she also said that, you know, he owes her an apology, that many female tennis players do worse things. And I've seen so many of them. Tim Henman, Andrew Murray, they all smash their rackets on the floor and never get penalised.
Never a problem.
Yeah, she got penalised for that. And she was, you know, following the whole sexist thing. She also has a baby girl and said, you know, like, she made a statement. It was her kind of activism in her sport. Now, moving on to the way she reacted, a lot of the crowd were booing Naomi. You know, she's a 20-year-old girl. She's just her first kind of Grand Slam and she won. She's made history, but it was the embrace that Serena Williams gave her, a bit of motherly kind of mental.
Do you think Serena overreacted by any chance?
Absolutely not. I think everyone's jumping on that angry black woman bandwagon where she overreacted. We've never seen her overreact like that. She's been playing.
Some people are saying first time.
Yes, they're saying that she's in 3 consecutive US Opens. That's what she's done.
Okay, but she's okay. Hang on, but she loses her cool. Yes, because when you're a professional and you play well and you coach really hard and you do everything to prove yourself, and people are still trying to pick on little things that you do, of course you're going to lose your cool. Anyone in that situation would have lost their cool. Now, for you to penalise her twice for things that aren't enough to be penalised for, I mean, smashing her racket and saying that she got coaching is 2 serious allegations. I wouldn't stand for that either.
Wait, let me come back to you. I want to hear quickly what Ife has to say.
Excuse me, in football,
But this is not football, this is
tennis.
tennis.
No, hold on. I'm just
this is
using
tennis.
this.
So let's stick to tennis.
I'm just using
you're on fire.
Yeah, just
in football.
Let's stick to
tennis. Male and female tennis.
In tennis, there are some referees that would see that.
Yes, that's
okay. Well, you play the sport anyways. There are some umpires that would see some of those things and overlook it. But in this case, if that umpire decides that, look, I'm going to penalize you for this, it doesn't. Even though it's wrong, even though it's not acceptable, showing your good sportsmanship doesn't mean you should lose your cool. And if you feel that there are certain times that people are allowed to lose their cool, not consecutively, do you understand? Like, you have...
How do you think it's wrong,
You've had
though?
repeated...
Hang on a second, let him finish, because I've got a response. Go on.
You've had repeated episodes of losing your cool all the time. So it could just be, okay, let's test her again. Let's see if she's going to lose her cool.
Okay.
Let's do this, let's do that. So it could be, I don't know. I know a lot of people are
you think
jumping
the
on the
umpire was playing-
bandwagon
So this is
of the angry black woman, but no, I
Okay.
don't think so. I think
no,
Serena
it's
just
true,
needs
because
to
obviously
calm down.
in outside of countries where it's a multicultural society, that stereotype is definitely a thing. Now, it's not only her, they said the same thing about Naomi. But anyway, this is my thing, right? If you're gonna risk being fined for something that you didn't do, you will pipe up. She's been fined $17,000. That's not a joke, right? And on
No,
top
for Serena, that's like...
Okay, but no,
Peanuts,
but it doesn't
yeah.
matter.
But it does-
Rich
exactly,
people don't
it's the
stay rich by
principle.
just spending money.
That's the
and
thing,
it's the principle. And the fact is,
But it's because you did something wrong.
okay,
Whether you want
no,
to...
hang on.
No,
hang
whether
on.
she admits it or not.
Hang on, you said, right, other umpires might have overlooked it, and that's the point she's trying to make. It seems as though she's been playing since the age of 12. Right? So you can't say that throughout her whole career, for everything that she's won, that she doesn't know the code of conduct.
Exactly.
Do you know the problem with people like that? The problem with people like...
Hang on a second, yeah. I'll let you finish. Now, the umpire also has a set of code and rules that he must follow. In fact, all of them do. It's uniform, so that things like this don't happen, right?
Yeah.
So even if one umpire, and nobody knows who this umpire is, Carl Ramos has just made himself famous by doing this, right? And he was on a power trip. That's what he was on.
Yeah.
And that's what she was trying to bring to light. The fact is, so many men, I've just given you 2 examples of men that do that, which should have been penalised. So if they weren't penalised, why is
This
she...
was a woman playing against a woman. Please don't bring feminism.
No, that's not
This
the
is not
point.
about feminism. Listen
okay.
to what I'm
Or
saying.
sexism.
No, but it is. If 2 men have smashed their
Well,
rackets
that's
on
what
the
she's
floor,
saying, yeah,
have never been,
and you don't
just
have
listen
any
to
issue.
it. Forget about the fact that you feel a certain way about it. If you smash your racket on the floor and I smash my racket on the floor, why do I get penalised and you don't?
Because you are used to doing it. You do it all the time.
No,
You've been warned about it
jeez.
several times.
Tim
And you
Henman
keep
has
doing
done it
it.
at
That's the
least
point,
3
though.
times.
That's not the point, Ife.
And that's not the
because
point.
the thing is, it's a game. It has to be fair. And if you're an umpire, a professional umpire, at
should
that,
be fair.
you should be fair.
Fair. End of
You guys
story.
don't get me wrong. I'm not saying what the umpire did was
And she's done
right
it consecutively
or wrong.
when?
That's what they said.
3
because
US Open.
3 years open.
Has she
because
done what?
actually,
She's done what?
Apart from that,
losing your cool,
she's
you don't
always
get-
losing her cool.
You don't get
That's what they
penalised for
said.
losing your cool. In this case, she lost her cool because she was penalised twice, which resulted in her opponent winning. Do you know
Yeah,
how
but
much
she's
serious that
fond
is?
of throwing tantrums.
Okay, that's fine. So many footballers throw tantrums. So many tennis players throw. Sports people throw tantrums when they're
Exactly.
upset because
She should not
it's
be penalised
passion.
for that.
But the fact
Or
she's
the
been
emotion.
penalised and fined and then publicly humiliated is an issue.
Yeah.
And I'm not being funny. If she's going to sit there and take a fine of 17 grand and then also being told that
it has to be
she's
justified.
not then she's not being
Jacob,
professional.
correct me if I'm wrong. I have a feeling that she may be compensated for that 17 that she's paid.
I don't know at
You
the
know
moment,
what?
but
Now
she's
that
been
the
given
thing-
the fine, so she
now
probably
that
has to-
this whole Serena thing has garnered this international,
Attention.
worldwide attention, and everybody's talking about, I think they're going to scrap the 17,000 to start with.
Well, let's wait and see. I
And
hope so.
you guys don't get me wrong. I'm not saying what the umpire did is right.
Right, okay.
And I'm not saying what Serena did
Was
is
right.
wrong or right.
Okay.
All I'm saying is, look, there's something called sportsmanship in sports, and you are not allowed, regardless.
And that's why I'm saying, how can you take her, how many she's about 30 or
Exactly.
How can you take her
Thank you,
whole
thank you,
career and
thank
say
you,
that because she's been
thank you.
consecutively losing her cool
Thank you
3
for
times,
bringing that back.
you're saying she's a bad sportswoman?
Thank you for bringing that back. Now, you said she's been
Okay, we
playing
need to
since,
round up now,
since
so
the age
conclude.
of 12, and then she has a code of conduct, and she knows the code of conduct. The problem with people like that is because they feel they've been playing for so long, they know all those rules.
Well,
they
she's
become
been successful for so
Yeah, they
long.
become
In her
very
own-
arrogant, and then they get there and they're trying to
That's
teach you
not
your
the point.
job.
I think
That
you can't
happens.
give Serena arrogance in any way, shape, or
No, she's
form.
paid her
because-
dues.
I'm
and
just
she's
saying,
done
like,
really
the
well.
problem with people like that, I'm
Yeah.
not saying Serena.
Fair enough, but
Yeah.
in her case, she knows what she's talking about, I don't think.
All right, that's where we're going to have to wrap up on Tea Time this morning. Join us this afternoon for fresh entertainment stories. Until then, a big thank you to my co-anchors, the production team as well. I'm Tokunbo Tayo saying thanks for watching and have yourself a good morning.